Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another review. There's another paid request, this time for Jonathan Lindsey. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, rankings, reviews, commentaries, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, reactions, whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for another episode of Batman the Animated Series called The Man Who Killed Batman. Now, this one was interesting because it wasn't the typical story, because we're in the middle of this guy running through the rain, and apparently Batman's been killed, and you're wondering what's going on here, and then this very schlub of a guy with glasses sees this guy, Mr. Thorne, and then tells through backstory, flashback I should say, not backstory, tells via flashback what happened. His name is Sid. He's got glasses on. He's a schlub of a guy. And it's actually voiced by Matt Frewer. If you don't know who that is, in the 80s, he was most successful for playing a character called Max Headroom, who did these commercials for Coca-Cola and then had a very short-lived TV show. But Max Headroom is a little bit of a pop culture thing in the 80s. He would go do a couple films. He was in the first Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He was in this film I quite enjoyed called The Take Care of Beverly Hills with Ken Paul. He was in the Dawn of the Dead remake in 2004. He was the dad, I forget which character, who in the mall they had the idea of a mercy killing too. He's been quite a few other stuff. He was in the sequel Lawnmower Man 2, which was horrible. But I like Matt Frewer, and it was nice to have him voice this character. I thought he voiced it rather well. Where he's a nice guy, he got caught with the wrong people, he wanted to get respect, but he's very clumsy, he's very apologetic, and he's kind of pushing to, yeah, you do this, we're doing this drug run, you be our spotter. And he doesn't know what he's doing, and Batman's there, and again, the Sid guy is being clumsy, almost falls, Batman has to save him. And through his clumsiness, Batman falls, supposedly into this propane tank, and there's an explosion. Batman's cape is there, and then people think, oh my god, he killed Batman. Now, I do think a bit more could have been done with this, where now people think he killed Batman. In fact, some people in the bars are like, oh, you killed Batman, huh? You think you did kill me? And then this bar fight happens, he escapes. And then it comes across Harley Quinn and Joker. And Joker's like, I don't buy this. I don't buy you doing that. So they do this diamond robbery to see if Batman comes. He doesn't. And I will say, it's a nice look into Joker, his psyche, because he's there to steal diamonds, but not really. When he finds out Batman's not coming, he literally tells Harley Quinn, put the jewels back. Oh, you're kidding. And it's like, no, put them back. So it shows that in his twisted mind, he really does want Batman around. And he says, you know, without Batman, crime has no punchline. Now, why I say that they could have done more with it is, it would have been nice if there were other villains that popped up, because if the word on the street is Batman's dead, like, it would have been fun if there was a series of villains that this Sid guy went through, whether it be Penguin, whether it be Croc, whether it be Poison Ivy. This series of villains, he would be kind of glossed around, some impressed, some mad, some, hey, let me give you some of this, you'll give him rewards, other people denouncing him. What, you did? I just think for this kind of plot, it's weird that it's only Joker and Harley Quinn. Like, where's Two-Face? You know, where's all these other villains? Even, you know, the Riddler. Like, all these other villains that could pop out. Number one, thinking Batman's gone, now they're going to have some free reign. And two, because you never know, that's another thing with this show, you never know, like, who's in jail and who's not. Because he's like, oh, they're in jail. Then the next show, they're not in jail. Then they're in jail. Then they're not in jail. Oh, now they are in jail. Then they're not. Then they are. Then they not. Then are. They're not. It's like, Maybe I'm just not paying attention. But it's like, well, wait a minute. I thought that person was in jail. Now they're not in jail. But like I said, it's still interesting to see a bit of Joker's psyche that even though this guy killed the Batman, he's so angry that this guy did it. He's actually going to kill him too. Because that's the thing with Joker. He wants to be the one to do it. If someone's going to kill Batman, he wants it to be himself. And if someone else does it, he does get that adamantly pissed about it. Again, it's an interesting bit of the Joker's character. And then spoiler alert, they throw Matt Frewer into this coffin, into this acid. He's able to get out of it somehow. He doesn't know how he did, how he escaped. We're back to the present. He's in Thorne's office. And Rupert Thorne, he's been in a couple episodes. He's voiced by John Vernon. I would say the thing I would think of him the most is he says the line, "Go fucking iceberg," in this movie called Savage Streets. He was also in Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and he was in this film called Blue Monkey, and John Vernon popped up quite a bit. I think he was in Animal House. I think that was his kind of his claim to fame. National Lampoon's Animal House. Always nice to hear John Vernon's voice on there. Good actor, good voice for that character of this crime boss. And Batman finally arrives. It was all a ploy to find out who really was part of this drug run. And of course, it's Rupert Thorne. He had a nice bit where he throws his ninja star into this gun and just knocks the fuck out of John Vernon's character. And also a nice bit of Batman's character where he's got to put this guy in jail because he did commit a crime. But his tone is softer. It's like, you know what? A guy with your reputation, you may do well in prison. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this whole bit where you almost killed the Batman and you fooled the Joker. You could be a big guy. And of course, when he does get into prison, he's a big shot in prison. And that's what the guy wanted all along, was respect. He's still in jail. But he's given a bit of a respect. And that's the thing with Batman is like, even Catwoman, when Catwoman, the episode Catwoman, he still, even though he liked her, he still put her in jail because he had to. Same with this guy. Is that even if, you did turn a kind of a new leaf, you still had to pay for the crime, so to speak. Whether it was the studio or someone mandating that, saying, well, no, if they committed a crime, they have to be punished. As with studios, they have some strange rules when it comes to cartoons. Or it's like, you know what, that's part of Batman's character and motif, you have to do that. But again, he's not being cruel or mean. He has a softer voice when talking to this Sid guy at the end. So again, it was a little bit of a different kind of story. Matt Frewer, I thought he did a nice job as Sid. He definitely got that schlubby feel to him where he's not trying to cause trouble. He's definitely in over his head. With this kind of concept, the man who killed Batman, you would think a lot more villains would have popped up. Now again, maybe they were in jail at the time or there was whatever. But it seemed like that's an opportunity to have like Two-Face and all these other people pop up and converse with this guy for good, for bad, for indifferent, for other reasons, who knows. So I think that's something that could have been utilized a bit more. But other than that, still a decent episode. Yeah, I didn't mind it. Plus, I will say, as superficial as it is, when you have a guest actor, and I'm like, oh, I really like that actor, it's sometimes just nice to hear this person get more work, like Matt Frewer, and witness their performance. Like Mark Senior was in an episode or two, and Mark Senior was the star of this movie, Watchers 2, which is a childhood a film I like from my childhood. So part of the appeal is, oh wow, I get to listen to Mark Singer, or oh Matt Frewer, or other people. So yeah, that might be superficial, but that's part of the fun of it as well. And it's a show that's well animated. The music works fairly solid with the animation, and they go by a fast pace. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. This is a decent episode. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.